33 years ago when Field of Dreams came out with the great Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones as the lead actors, this person was a major character in the movie Moonlight Graham. A lot of people didn't know until later on there was a real Moonlight Graham, played by Frank Whaley, and of course the great Burt Lancaster in the movie playing the older version of Moonlight. Robbed the Best Supporting Actor nomination, by the way. So today we're going to talk about the real Moonlight Graham and his impact on baseball history, and some of the details over the revisions of his career in the movie. Stretch it a little bit. Now, Archibald Wright Moonlight Graham, born November 12, 1876, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, was an American professional baseball player and medical doctor who appeared as a right fielder in a single major league game for the New York Giants on June 29, 1905. His story was popularized by Shoeless Joe, a novel by W.P. Kinsella, and a subsequent 1989 film The Field of Dreams, starring Kevin Costner and featuring Burt Lancaster and Frank Whaley, respectively, as the older and younger incarnations of Moonlight. Now, again, born in Fayetteville, the second of 10 children born to Alexandra and Catherine B. Sloan Graham, his brother Frank Porter Graham was president of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and was later a U.S. Senator. Every one of Graham's siblings also finished college. He played baseball at UNC, where he was a member of the Dialectic Society, a debating organization. Now, Graham went on to play baseball in the minor leagues for a very impressive 7 seasons, starting with the Charlotte Hornets, not the basketball team, in the Class C North Carolina League in 1902. The following year, he played with Nassau, New Hampshire team in the Class B New England League, a very underrated minor pro association, by the way. He also played for Lowell and Manchester, New Hampshire teams that year, eventually batting .240 in 89 games with 7 triples. In 1904, he spent the entire season with Manchester with a .272 average in 108 contests. Now, Graham started the 1905 season with the Binghamton Bingos, Bingoes, in the Class B New York State League. He was purchased by the Giants, who had won the NL pennant the previous year, and had refused to play the Boston Americans in a World Series, reporting to the team on May 23, 05. On June 29th, the Giants were the visiting team against the Brooklyn Super Bowl at Washington Park. At the conclusion of the 8th inning, Graham replaced right fielder George Brown. In the top of the ninth, Graham was on deck when Claude Elliott flied out, resulting in the third and final out. Graham played the bottom of the ninth in right field, recording no putouts or assists. That game turned out to be his only appearance in the major leagues. Now, it's kind of stretching Field of Dreams, saying it was the last game of the season. He was called up in like the big soliloquy between Costner and Lancaster when Costner goes back in time to 1972 to talk to Moonlight. Now, when Graham returned to New York State League, he appeared with the Scranton Miners for the rest of the season and into 1906. For the 1905 minor league season, playing for 2 squads, he had .288 in 64 games. The following year, he had a career best .329, split between two squads. Scranton, where he hit .336 in 124 games, and the Memphis Egyptians of the Class A Southern Association, where he hit .262 in 12 contests. He returned to Scranton for the 07 and 08 seasons, where he hit .285 and .263 in 131 in 130 games. Now, Graham ranked second in batting average for the New York State League that year, losing the 1906 batting title by 4 points. However, according to Encyclopedia of Minor League Baseball, second edition, he led the league in batting with an average of .336. Again, the revision of these old stats can change decade by decade. Now, when he decided to complete his medical degree from the University of Maryland in 1905, while there, he had also played the school's 04 and 05 baseball squads. Graham had also added some weight to his 5'10 frame and resumed his collegiate football career. He played halfback for Maryland's football squad in 04 and 05, and he obtained his license the following year and began practice medicine in Chisholm, Minnesota. Now, Doc Graham, as he became known after his career as a ball player, served the people of Chisholm for 50 years. From 09 to 1959, Graham was a doctor for the Chisholm schools. For many years, Doc Graham made arrangements to have used eyeglasses sent to his Chisholm office. On Saturdays, he would have the children of the Iron Range, Minnesota miners from Grand Rapids, Virginia, come to his office, have their eyes checked. and then fit them with the proper set of glasses, all free of charge. And that's kind of alluded to in the soliloquy or the presentation by the female news editor. You know how we are in community papers. We're always keeping files of old stories. Now, he died in Chisholm in 1965. He was buried in Rochester, Minnesota. The Graham Scholarship Fund, established in his honor, provides financial assistance to 2 Chisholm High School graduating seniors each year. The award is given to 1 boy and 1 girl at $500 US each. Now, a biography of Graham, Chasing Moonlight, the true story of Field of Dreams, Doc Graham, was written by sports writer Brett Friedlander and college professor Robert W. Rice in April 2009. I've read some passages from the book. It's quite interesting, sort of like a hometown hero, a hockey book that you would see with the hockey heroes in Canada. Now, in 1975, Canadian author W.P. Kinsella happened to notice Graham's entry in the Baseball Encyclopedia. He made note of his unusual career and then incorporated Graham as a character in his 82 novel Shoeless Joe, on which the movie Field of Dreams was based. Much of the description of Graham's life in the novel came from the people of Chisholm, as Kinsella visited seeking information on him. Now, in the novel, the dates of Graham's big league appearance and death are kept as in real life, making the 1905 appearance 74 years prior to the book's 1979 time frame. And the Ray Kinsella character quickly finds out that Graham has been dead since 65. The time travel scene has Kinsella meeting Graham in 1955, 10 years prior to Graham's death. And of course, the Costner Lancaster scenes are what he called the Godfather era 1972. Now, in the movie, where the changes occur from the book, the Fenway Park scoreboard shows Graham's appearance as having taken place in 1922, 66 years prior to the film's 1988 timeframe. A woman in Chisholm, a longtime friend of Graham's who wrote his obituary in a newspaper of the day, later tells Ray Kinsella, Kevin Costner, and author Terrence Mann, played by James Earl Jones, that Graham had died in 72. In the time travel sequence of the movie, lead character Ray Kinsella goes back to the year of Graham's death and is told by Doc Graham that his appearance was on the final day of the season rather than the middle. Also from the movie, Graham does not play professional baseball at all after his one appearance in the major leagues. In real life, Graham played 3 additional seasons in the minor leagues, 06 through 08, after the one major league game that he played in 1905. Now, in the film, Graham, played by Whaley, is seen batting right-handed, but in fact batted left-handed. But it doesn't take away from the power of Lancaster's speech. Now, I'm giving you a little of my trivia. When I was playing in the West Coast Intermediate Baseball League, I was under a very moronic and a very self-centered coach, Father Georges Parent, who made it to the Brunswick Baseball Hall of Fame. He decided to bench me for 2 seasons because he didn't consider me a ball player. The only game I played in the 2 seasons I was in Beldoon was as a substitute for a late player at a game against Adderville. And ironically, my mother came up for the contest. I was allowed to play 3 innings. We only had 9 players. I came to bat once, hit into a fielder's choice, but as soon as the other player arrived, he took me off the field. That's about the strangest thing. But seeing what happened 5 years later in Field of Dreams is like God was telling me there's a reason he took you out of the game, because many years later you're going to be talking about your story and Moonlight's story together. And the idea is full participation is something that is not talked about in sports. When you don't play a player enough or you don't respect him enough, sometimes they'll quit and go to the second choice. But the way the Burt Lancaster character puts it together, I'm not giving out the whole scene because I'm going to start crying. It's one of the most tearful and romantic baseball scenes in what he call a love of the game. Burt Lancaster was on his way out. He was, not say dying when he did the scene, but he wasn't going to live too much longer. But the connection between Kevin Costner as an old school style of Hollywood actor and Burt Lancaster, who played so many heroes in his career, that he went to the 7 Days of May where he played the evil, general that was going to overthrow the American government. It didn't really register with the viewers. You look at Birdman of Alcatraz and other key movies he did with Kirk Douglas. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen Field of Dreams, okay, rent it. If you know somebody in your family is over the age of 50 and is a baseball fan, and if you want to get them to cry, bring up Field of Dreams and that scene between Moonlight and Ray Kinsella. And I know what it was like to be humiliated by a coach because I love baseball. I still do, but I love baseball at the time. Coming out of the Blue Jays, coming out of we used to play scrub, which is kind of a game of softball we played as kids. This coach, and I've said this publicly, is a complete and fucking idiot. To bench a young kid, I was only 17, 18, and said, oh, you didn't present yourself as a ball player, leave him in. I mean, we only, I think, won 3 or 4 games that season, maybe. We're a rough game where the 10-run rule sent us home early to the shed, we have a few beer. But the disgrace, someone claimed to be a baseball coach for years, to do that to a young player like it was going to break me. It wasn't going to break me. It allowed me for the last 40 years to say he's a fucking piece of shit. And my dad always said, you're going to go to hell for criticizing a Catholic priest. Well, this guy didn't know who Pee Wee Reese was. He didn't know what the second base non-touch was on a double play. Didn't know who Dave Kingman was. Didn't know the Big Red Machine. That was a name for the Reds. He was an idiot. Good amateur coach for the players he coached well. But, and get this, my great-grandmother married her husband 2 years before, and we paid him to come in to do the ceremony at the house. Okay? So that's what you have. So all I'm just saying, Ray, for everybody out there that only played one game of hockey or one game of baseball or one game of soccer, you're not alone. And this scene was a tribute to the importance of just playing, just gripping that little bit of glory. Like the smell of the field, how Moonlight describes it, and the feeling of the field. We used to play in Beldoon. We had a kind of a green monster for a field, and the fans in left field would sit on the left field fence and wave to the players. We used to pass the bucket during games. This is how things were soaked out. I had to ride the rails for 2 years because of this crazy fucker, and I don't care if he sues me or not. He's a disgrace. And the worst part is, I had to cover his induction to Brunswick Baseball Hall of Fame. By the way, most Hall of Fames here, not everybody agrees with the insertion. I became the most decorated sports reporter in Northern Brunswick history. He got the Brunswick Baseball Hall of Fame. I didn't stop because he was benching me. I was going to stop for my dreams. I never thought I was going to play, be a number 5 hitter for a West Cushion Baseball League team. But that's what I'm saying. When you try to stop somebody's dreams or his enjoyment, there's a deliberate evil in you. And this priest was evil because if he loved the Lord so much, why one of his parishioners, because my family was from Jacket River, St. Gabriel's Parish in the North Shore, would do something like that. So, Moonlight Graham, the Burt Lancaster performance, tremendous. I met Frank Whaley at a Framingham Megafest many years ago. Very interesting actor, done a lot of good stuff. Quiz show and School of Rock and all that. But the way he played Moonlight mimicked what Burt Lancaster played a little bit. And of course, the scene where Moonlight saves Kevin Costner's baby from choking in the movie has to be seen to be believed. And hey, rookie, you were good. Boys, oh boys. Breaks your heart, man. Breaks your heart. So that's the story of Jeffrey Bento Corey, the governor, connection with Moonlight Graham, and truth is more stranger than fiction, because if you would have came back with me 40 years ago, my old buddy Jean Bertin, my former co-worker at the Hamilton Tribune, played on the opposite Adderall team that day, and we talked about that. He said, why did he take you off? I said, I don't know. He said, he's never seen Field of Dreams, has he? I said, no, I don't think he has. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here, we're a vintage baseball podcast. Let us know in the like, comment, subscribe, or share. And true to stranger in fiction, yes, I got benched 40 years ago for being too much in love with the drama and romance of baseball. Have a good one.